This is a product video for Skyfol's PPF Wrap AC Dry Apply Color Change Film. And here are the details. Film thickness, 200 microns. Elongation at break, 300%. Adhesive is removable repositionable with air egress features. It has real PPF level protection. It's more durable than standard PVC color change films. It has an anti-scratch coating to ensure long-term quality. And as noted earlier, it's a dry apply PPF install. Always be sure to document the lot number, which is on the outside of the Skyfol PPF wrap box. The film comes with a semi-transparent PET liner. The film has a medium initial tack. Once on the surface, apply firm overlapping squeegee strokes, and if air does get trapped, it can be pressed away with a finger or with a squeegee. And the Skyfol PPF Wrap AC has standard PPF properties, where it can be dramatically stretched and it goes back to its original shape at room temperature. Note that the top coating makes the surface energy very low. This makes it essential to prep the base layer when using inlays or overlays properly. Place 2 runs of masking tape on the base layer and expose roughly half a centimeter. Then use a butane torch to gloss the bottom layer. This will raise the surface energy. Now place the top piece on, squeegee it firmly in place. Make the overlap cut by going alongside the masking tape and then release the excess film. This combination will ensure that the overlap stays firmly for the long term. Like with any PPF install, direct cutting on the surface may be required. Keep the blade perpendicular and at a 10-degree angle towards the surface. Don't go all the way through the film, score it roughly 2/3 of the way into the film. This means it'll pull cleanly away and not go too deep. And note that the Skyfol PPF Wrap AC series is non-directional. This allows installers to place the material in any direction during the install. For tools, it's recommended to use the ones in the Skyfol catalog, as they've been properly approved by the company, both for cleaning and for installation purposes. The first step is to carefully remove the hardware and store it in a safe area in the workspace. Now move on to cleaning, and it's very important to clean the vehicle thoroughly. Because the film is 200 micron thick, the smoother and cleaner the surface, the better the paint-like finish at the end. Once clean, rinse the vehicle with clean, clear water, then use a clay bar with a soap solution over the entire vehicle, rinse it one more time, then use a drying towel. Once the vehicle has been cleaned and clay barred, now it's time to degrease the surface. Thoroughly degrease the main surface and put extra focus on all the edges, as the film will be wrapped around every edge on the vehicle. And it's highly recommended to use a low tack solution, particularly on horizontal areas like the hood, roof, and trunk. Evenly wipe the low tack solution on the surface, then do a focused degrease on the outside edges with alcohol to remove any of the low tack solution. Next up is to do a pre-inspection that includes documenting on paperwork and with pictures. And with normal PPF installations, it's recommended to use cutting software and templates. This creates a focused, straightforward install. Yet, because this is a color change install, it's recommended to measure the vehicle by hand and cut pieces on a work table. And a good tip due to the PET liner is to wipe down the liner with a soft microfiber towel to remove any specks before rolling the sections up. Now we move on to installation tips and techniques. It's highly recommended to go over the surface being wrapped one more time with a towel to remove any specks of dust. Lay the panel out and remove the entire liner in most cases. Tack one side, in this case the upper corner of the hood, and pull firmly towards the opposite side. Now pull towards the corners and make glass. This is creating a wrinkle-free surface on the entire section. Once set, use firm overlapping squeegee strokes on the main flat area first, and for moderate recessed areas, use the palm technique. For the outside edges, pick the material up and tuck it safely into the edge. Now go over the edges with heat to activate the adhesive. Once the adhesive is activated, especially on the corners, then it's time for cutting. Always make sure the blade is sharp by clicking into a safe box, and use a 30-degree stainless steel or carbon blade. For edges, it's highly recommended due to the thickness of the film to wrap around all edges, roughly 1 centimeter. For corners, round them and add heat, first with a heat gun, and if tiny wrinkles appear, then use a butane torch to make them smooth. Always open a section when possible to make sure there's a full seal on the underside. And for moderate curves, like on front fenders, remove the excess film, leaving roughly 6 centimeters on all sides. Pull firmly on a middle body line, then glass the film out top and bottom. If there are recessed areas, it's very important not to bridge the recessed area, but pick the film up and feed it in when possible. This will help ensure that the film doesn't lift from these areas. For the break between the fenders and the bumpers, it's very important to bridge the material over this area, cut on the opposite side, then tuck the material into the gap. For moderate body lines, add heat to soften the film first, then squeegee the body line first and work away. For severe body lines, it's very important to make a relief cut. Fold the bottom section first, then the top section on top. This will ensure quality for the long term. For mirrors, due to their complexity, the thickness of the film, and the properties of PPF film, it's highly recommended to wrap them in multiple pieces. Make relief cuts when necessary. Prep the base layer as noted at the beginning of the video. Place the overlay piece on top and make the overlap roughly 0.5 centimeter. On severe corners like this, make tiny overlap cuts, gloss the base layer, then make an invisible overlap on the body line. This makes it look like one piece and ensures long-term hold. For larger recessed areas, like on this rocker panel, it's very important to pick the film up and feed it into this area first before working on the main flat area. Make relief cuts when necessary before taking it to the edge. And for severe recessed areas, like on front bumpers and back bumpers, it's highly recommended to make inlays. Before applying the main bumper piece, always be sure to set up the overlaps with the butane torch to raise the surface energy. And for bumpers, it's recommended to use 2 installers to glass the film out and place it in position. And for the overlaps, make them roughly 3 to 4 millimeters wide to ensure long-term hold. Add heat to activate the adhesive. And for back bumpers, to ensure quality and long-term hold, it's recommended to do these in 2 pieces. So first, install the main panel. Then once set, place trimline tape on the body line. Use the blade and run it alongside the edge of the trimline tape so the cut is perfectly symmetrical and uniform. Raise the surface energy of the base layer, and now place a pre-cut piece on top so no knife is needed to finish the outside edge. Once the wrap is complete, do a 360 trek over to make sure all the edges are sealed. Reinstall the hardware, and it's recommended for aftercare to use the approved products from Skyfol. Using these on a regular basis will help maintain the beautiful finish. And note that if the outside temperature is below 15 degrees Celsius, keep the vehicle inside overnight for 24 hours to allow the adhesive to reach maximum adhesion. For more information and to contact Skyfol about their PPF wrap AC film, be sure to go to this URL, and be sure to follow Skyfol on these social media outlets. This has been a product video for Skyfol PPF Wrap AC Dry Apply Color Change Film, proudly produced by the Wrap Institute.